I think missions looks like serving Jesus and loving his people. I think every day should be a surrender to the Lord and active pursuit of God and his will. Being the arms and feet of Christ and proclaiming the gospel. I do not think that missions has to be some nitty-gritty epic story. Missions is just doing what God wants you to do with your life. Just a really cool way of, the Lord including you in his epic, beautiful plan.
When you talk about missions, you have to have the kingdom mindset to it. Missions are difficult. We live in a very complex modern world now, and a lot of missions trips, I think, can potentially do more harm than good. The heart of it is coming alongside people and just helping them how they need to be helped.
Going to Haiti, we didn't exactly do that many projects. Like, we didn't construct an entire building, or we didn't go and garden for them. We just were there with them to fellowship with them through Christ and show them the love of God.
People say it's a life-changing experience, and yes, it is a life-changing experience for you, but you're primarily there for others. Jesus Christ was a man for others, so it's being open and able, and also being willing.
The first thing I would say to someone who wants to go on a foreign mission is to treat your daily life like a mission trip. Really love the people who are in front of you, because that's the most important. That's what God calls us to do. You don't have to fly someplace different to really proclaim the gospel. In fact, I think it's more important to show the love of Christ in your household, in your dorm, in your church, wherever you are, that's where you should be really proclaiming the gospel.
I know that missions is supposed to be everywhere, but it's so hard once you get back home to treat it that way. You think overseas and where people who haven't heard the gospel is the only mission field, but in actuality you're called to show the love of Christ to everyone and share your testimony and the gospel to anyone who's willing to listen.
I think people think missions is if you have to go out of the country and do it, but missions is all around. As Christians, we're on a daily mission field. So it's preaching to your neighbor, to a friend if you pass by in the hallway, basically anybody.
Throughout the gospel, we have a command to feed the starving and clothe the naked and comfort the widow and the orphan. Sometimes we miss that. But sometimes we're like, oh, there's no point in doing anything if we're not sharing the gospel, and that is kind of true. But you need to be doing those things too. Proper missions addresses the physical needs of people and then addresses their spiritual needs as well, and kind of explains to them that there are things that are even more important than their own hunger. But the fact is, if we lack the compassion to even help people who are in need, then they're not going to want to hear the gospel from us.
Everyone is called to missions, regardless if it's domestic or international.
The Great Commission is to go out and to share the gospel with everyone, to make disciples of all nations.